Hello, and welcome back to Get Even. This is BioEnchanted, and today we'll be infiltrating this company. So let's get to it, shall we?
What the fuck just happened? Is this real?
The answer is slightly more complex than the question, I'm afraid, Mr. Black. It's real enough. For now, just relax and explore.
Okay.
This is what I consider to be the first
Still
real
the
level.
prototype. The cornergun.
Highly likely. We believe someone hired you.
Text message says Robert.
Probably Robert Ramsey. Worked for a rival company, FDG.
So one company hired me to steal from another.
Don't worry about piecing it all together, Mr. Black. Just relax and...
And relax and explore. Yeah, I got it.
There are quite little moments like that though, where Black kind of finishes red sentences for him. That's kind of cute. Here's just me showing off the fairly hard to read memoirs. And they are, at times, they can get quite difficult to actually read, because even on the PS4, on a full-size TV, they're tiny as all hell. I can barely make them out, so I'm sure it's not very easy for you. That's one of the main problems I have with this game, is that the memoir writing is so tiny. And this is really easy to miss. This is fairly interesting. A bunny sitting in the middle of nowhere. The keypads, for which we have no code. We'll come back to that. I quite like little bits of set dressing, like the chair and the stepladder down here. Especially considering the mention of sabotage in that article as well. It's obvious it's there from someone performing maintenance down here. Based on whatever happened to Edgebaston. So let's get through here. It's probably in the area that's open for maintenance. And see where these pipes lead. While walking straight into a dead end like an idiot. This is barely a maze, I just screwed that up. I quite like this level because it's got a lot of visual variety to it. Like, it's not just the tunnels, like you have this little pipe maze and things like that, and it gets kind of neat later on as well. So let's see where this tunnel leads, shall we? Oh, that's blocked. Let's go this way a bit more.
Focus, Mr. Black. You're traveling in circles, and time is limited.
I feel like I'm missing
Yeah,
something.
obviously.
Such is the nature of memory. The scanner you carry has been designed to stimulate your frontal cortex. In some situations, it may help certain details become clearer. Try it and see.
As you may have guessed, there's more to these pipes than meet the eye, hence the blue mark on the map.
What the fuck is
Those
that?
blue markers are anomalies.
We programmed in a simulated projection of your real-life scanner. It will help you make sense of any inconsistencies in your synaptic recall, your memories.
So yeah, any inconsistencies in Black's memories show up on the map as little blue dots. They are very important to look out for in some of the levels. For the most part, you'll see what most of them are used for in a few minutes. For now, let's continue through these pipes. Yeah, I kind of trailed off there because I almost spoiled something.
Opportunity to engage your mind at last. Now just shoot your way out of the problem. Careful. Those pipes will burn if you get too close.
Burn? I thought this was just a memory.
It is. But your brain will give you the sensation of being burned. What affects the mind affects the body. Cause and effect.
This is crazy.
You may notice two green pips. This room has a really hard to see and really easy to miss thing to scan here, and it's this stuff here. This mysterious liquid that at first glance you might just think is water, but let's find out what it actually is, shall we?
Substance recognized. Heat transfer fluid.
Now we could just shoot that padlock, but that wouldn't be in the spirit of the puzzle now, would it? That's why he mentioned please try and solve the puzzle instead of shooting your way through. It was an option that the game gives you. But let's solve the puzzle properly by turning off all these hot pipes to cool the middle pipe, shall we? Surely this would potentially be more trapping the steam in the big pipe, but I guess the steam's coming in a different direction than we thought it was.
See? You're more than capable of figuring it all out.
I quite like those little bits of encouragement when you do something correctly, like when it's like, oh, well done, we do need to be more efficient, or...
Something feels off.
Yes, you appear to be experiencing a slight temporal anomaly. You're remembering events in the wrong order. It's just your mind trying to make sense of it all. Perfectly normal.
Quite like this effect, it's pretty neat. Especially the tempo increasing as you continue through the infinite doors. So this happens.
Was this all your fault? Was this all your fault? Was this all your fault?
You remember how to use the weapon?
Not really.
Why don't you approach the firing line?
I quite like that it's not like a complete stoic badass line. For, like a lot of games will just have them go, of course I do. I like it, it's just like, actually no, I've forgotten the kind of thing. It's a neat kind of...
Kind of.
It will soon enough.
And there's a neat bit of characterization I quite like. But yeah, here's a tutorial popper for the corner gun. We already had a small one, but this one is showing us all the tricks it has to offer.
Crouch and move forward to continue.
Seems like a weird thing to learn, but we're also learning something else here. If you point straight up, the corner gun instead does this. It reorients the view, so that you can see things above cover as well as around the corners of it. It's a little weird because sometimes you don't point as high up as you need to be and suddenly you're at this weird angle. But it's a neat kind of ability to have. I also like that it's just like he just plugs his phone into it as well. That's a neat visual as well. That it's just his phone in there. Like the gun doesn't come with its own electronics or screen or anything. All it is a gun on a frame. It's very simple technology. It's just a gun on a frame with probably kind of like a stick connecting the trigger to the trigger of the actual gun. The guns themselves are kind of tiny, just mounted into that front area. He just put his silenced pistol in there right now. His silenced pistol right now is just being an attachment, and that's kind of
back in the ADS building.
Technically, you're not even there, Mr. Black.
It's not a weapon, it's a weapon accessory. I quite like the visuals there, it's a really good design element. It gives it that aspect of realism. So let's sneak up, shall we? We're going to try and kill as few guards as possible. Because of course we are, because that's the kind of run we're doing.
How the fuck?
Just like before, Mr. Black, it's an inconsistency. Try to use them to your advantage.
These are the most common inconsistencies. Secret cover. Often, a lot of these levels can fall into the trap of following the blue dots, but it is not often that. It's also not always that easy. For example, there's a lot of blue dots in this area that pretty much just be ignored. You don't really need to do anything with them. But later in the game, there'll be a lot more complexities to the environment, so it's not just a matter of following the blue dots there either. There's a lot more to it than that. But at least initially, it gives you enough of an idea of the path you need to take. Like, if you see an area you're kind of trapped in, and you see a little blue dot, you know that's probably where you need to go. So let's be very careful around here. That little white thing you see at the bottom of the screen that's just turned yellow was a guard spotting me, almost. If it turns red, it means they've actually seen you. Yellow, they're investigating. One's on his way right now. So let's get in this elevator right quick. I like that little visual thing. It's not too obtrusive. Like, it's not the big red splat that happens on a lot of shooters, like, for example, Black.
Everyone seems off somehow. But it feels so real.
So do dreams, Mr. Black, until you wake up. That's the best way I can explain it. But Pandora is still not fully capable of simulating human behavior. I would advise against creating too much disturbance. Every time you kill someone, you rewrite the memory, which may cause distortion.
This is where the stealth can get tricksy, because this is where it stops being obvious it's not a matter of following dots. I fell into that trap when I first played this game, and I got totally lost in this one room. Couldn't work out where I was supposed to go, because it doesn't make it particularly obvious. It doesn't mark it on your map or anything like that. You just need to work out where you're trying to get to, and the best way to get to it. So let's carefully follow this guard. We're kind of safe from the guy in the middle. He can't really see you from inside there. Even though there's a lot of glass doors, they're very opaque glass, so even if he turns your direction, which he doesn't do for long, it's not going to be really there. But here is the main use of this kind of cover. It's to create hiding places. It goes for you to head up these stairs. This is actually a really tiny area you actually need to get to. This whole room is basically entirely just there to have people walking in circles in. The room itself is basically empty of anything except for the guards. There's no reason to explore any of it. These little blue dots around the other areas are kind of traps, really. This game's a bit realistic in itself, and it makes you figure out where you need to go, but without telling you specifically what you're trying to get to. For example, here, we need to go to a higher floor in the building, so we actually need to go to these elevators over here, which aren't really marked that well as a destination. They're just marked as an elevator. So if you think that your destination's on this floor, you can be a little bit stuck. I got stuck here. I may just be an idiot, though. They may have told me I was going for floor 12, and I just forgot.
Above you are the research labs. I believe that's where you need to go. A warning. You may come across Roger Howard, the CEO.
He was personally overseeing the development of the cornergun.
The man never sleeps. Although it's late,
He may well be around.
Yeah, I think that's the first time you actually get told you're going to the 12th floor. After you press the button and figured out that's where you're meant to go. The posters here are really easy to miss. This one I keep missing on my run through these levels. There's something in the future poster, because while it's right there, I sometimes forget to look at it, and that's just stupid. But there you go. I mean, it's right there. It's illuminated.
How did that happen? Oh, mess. Lucky I get plumber here this time of night.
Yeah, building up the pressure, we screwed up the coolant system, and now it's leaking at water everywhere. We really messed up the pipes here. So now that guy's wandering off on his own. They actually made a new obstacle for us in this part of the level, but it's an optional obstacle that we'll see in a few minutes. For now, let's get some more evidence. For example, this chat that mentions this man Jasper Prado. And this is really easy to miss, because you're often crouch walking through this area, and it's right on top of a table. This cheeky little poster over here. This is easy to miss, if you're playing carefully, like I often do. This is why I have a big list of all the collectibles in the game, so that, in the order you kind of get them in, so that I know what I've missed, if I accidentally missed one, so I can just go back for it right then and there, and not have to replay the entire level to get it. But of course, this guy we have to be kind of careful of, because you might think we're safe just staying crouched here. But if we just do that, he will spot us. Let's back off. Let him rage at the candy machine on his own time.
Life is shit.
Yes, it certainly is, mate. If he does that and you're in the room, he'll see you. I do quite like, though, his struggle with the vending machine. It's a cute little humanizing moment for these kind of faceless guards. That's a fairly hard to read newspaper, so I'll put up the white text for you all. So this is kind of... We can be kind of careless here, but we want to be careful and follow this guy the long way. Because while we could quickly take a shortcut and beeline to the area we need to get to, he would spot us. And that would mean we'd have basically have to get in there and get moving before he started actually opening fire. So we're just going to be careful here and not deal with that. I do like this little rhythmic music in the background as well. It's a neat sound. Game does a really good job with its sound design, with that kind of things of keeping going and keeping the momentum going even when you stood still. It's a really well done design choice. Here, of course, we can also add a little extra cover for ourselves to make it easier for the trip back. Because we won't be able to see where this guard is very easily. This guy over here can be ignored. He is never going to face this way unless we're idiots and deliberately alert him. But this guy who walked over here, he was over there by that door, but since the pipe burst, he wandered over here and got in our way for this. But then again, the pipe bursting is the only way this evidence actually spawns. As far as I recall, anyway. It might just be a different memo if you don't burst the pipes, because some of them actually change the evidence based on how things work out. For example, if you successfully disarm the bomb, you get like a few bits of evidence like after beating the level, just as a matter of course, like police reports on the level, that kind of thing. And in the first level, after defusing the bomb, if you defuse the bomb correctly and it still explodes, you get a slightly different message if you screw it up. Little things like that that are kind of neat. Like the evidence leads the characters to other conclusions and stuff, and that's an interesting idea. This was close. This guy scared me. While he will never see us, that was kind of spooky. But we're past that now. So here's the central elevator, which is our focal point for this level. So let's go to the top floor of the ADS building. Up here we're pretty much home free. There's no one up here. All these white doors are locked. So let's just try and find our goal, shall we? The red door's locked too, but the red door's permanently locked.
I don't remember the code to this door. How do I get through?
The memory of the code is still there, Mr. Black. You just can't quite access it. Explore your surroundings. The mind has funny ways of helping us recall.
I don't understand.
You don't need to, Mr. Black. You just need to look around.
I quite like all the little ways Black's mind's messing with him. Like, for example, the word on the control panel there said guilty instead of enter code. I quite like the way it does the code here as well, in these photos scattered around the area, which of course also counts as evidence despite being irrelevant to the level itself. We'll understand what they are by the next one. You see, the brain kind of associates memories with important events or scents or other things in people's lives. And you may be able to recognize him now. Yeah, these 4 numbers have been assigned to random memories in Cole's life. For example, his 7th birthday in the first one, him with his posing with his new motorcycle there, this photo of him about maybe 12 or 13 years old, and this photo over here of him in maybe late teens. I quite like that we get these like live actors all playing Cole at different times in his life. That's a neat little bit of design that they bothered to actually get actors that could convincingly look like Cole Black at different parts of his life. We know that's him because we saw a photo of ourselves as the first piece of evidence pretty much we got in the asylum when we first arrived, and we saw the collected evidence in that photo of Cole going, why was he there? So yeah, in that order, 7, 9, 4, 5. That's a pretty neat thing. I quite like that little puzzle. It's barely a puzzle, but it's a nice little thing. I also like they're actually in order as well.
How much did you know? How much were you responsible for? Was this all your fault? Was it really you who started all this?
Turns out you didn't just steal the cornergun. You destroyed their servers, erased their data, wiped the cornergun from existence. You're good at your job, Mr. Black, I'll give you that.
Well, this Robert Ramsey must have paid well.
This is the part of the game where I really fell in love with the music. And the game itself, really. So also we get our new attachment for the cornergun here as well, the assault gun. Automatic pistol thingy.
Ah, there you are. I'm afraid I've been watching you since the moment you entered the building. Your work is impressive, but the show is over. You have my property, and I want it back. Nothing personal, you understand. Security. Kill him.
We have to be careful here and keep crouched, although it takes forever for these doors to open. But listen to this sound design. The music matches up perfectly to Cole's frantic breathing as the security presses down on him. Of course, this isn't really a firefight. Of course, stealth mechanics are key here. We have our cornergun and our infrared vision, so let's use it. That's all the guards that are actually threatening us on this level. There are guards below as well that will shoot up, but they have much harder time hitting us. But as well as techno music here with the way it syncs to the rhythm of Cole's frightened breathing. It's a really good bit of sound design. And of course this door's now green. So let's see where we can go here, shall we?
What are you doing, Mr. Black?
What do you mean, what am I doing? I'm chasing Howard.
No. We have nothing to gain
By changing his memory.
I'm pulling you out. Full insulin system flood. That's it. Stay with us, Mr. Black. I'm pulling you out.
I thought this was a simulation. I was there. I could feel it. The pain.
It felt real because your mind perceived it to be. Injuries sustained within the Pandora will have the same effect on your brain as those sustained without.
Now, stop thinking, Mr. Black.
Clear your mind while I bring you out.
Yeah, overall I really like that level. It's a really strong bit of level design there, and a good introduction to the main mechanics of this game.
Oh, Christ. I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
A natural response. It will become easier the more we proceed. If it helps,
I have prepared a little...
gift for you.
What are you talking about?
Outside in the corridor, you see the lines of computer code.
all the ones and zeros.
Please, approach and proceed.
Not that again.
We'll do that next time. For now, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and next time we'll continue exploring the asylum and investigate that computer code. And now, with our torn up picture for the level, I'll bid you adieu. I'll see you next time.